Mic check. Mic check. And actually, I don't know how to check the mic. To be honest, I'm just saying that because it sounds cool. I really hope the mic is working.
It's working.
Is it working? Mad.
It gives the thing like a little punk vibe.
Yeah, exactly,
Like-
exactly. There's nothing more punk than like learning to use CDJs that's 10 seconds before we use them.
It's all good.
I want to welcome everyone tuning in to Revolution Sounds with Theo. Real Life presents the best promoter in London, and he'll say something like,
I'm just some guy.
I'm just some guy.
100% just some
100%.
guy.
I'm just some guy. Some shit. Bullshit like that. It's like I'm telling something that I know a lot of people will stand me with. This is a genuinely incredible man. This is honestly actually a really personal show for me to be hosting. Because I'm gonna like immediately off the bat get into my feelings to say that like I'm hosting a man who legitimately changed my life. Like I think Theo is someone who is absolutely inseparable from music. Music has been a way that Theo speaks through, and not only in the music that he's made, but most of all through the music that he enjoys. That now as a promoter that he hosts. With this man introduced me to sounds and bands and people and rooms that have genuinely shaped me as a person, emotionally and politically, through Real Life Presents. I've seen him do that with my own eyes to kids coming to shows to see a band and getting introduced to a totally different one. And I've seen personally the horizons widen, and it's beautiful that the experiences that I got to have with him as a friend, other people are getting to have with him as a promoter.
I really appreciate that. That's really, really sweet of you to say.
Honestly, I'm forever indebted to you,
So
and it's an honor to have you on here.
So really, what we're here to talk about something about the history of protest music across genres in the UK. I'm putting together the 5th edition of Punk's Palestine, so that'll be on this Monday, the 26th of May, at the New Cross Inn in Southeast London, and we'll be bringing together 12 acts across hardcore and hip-hop and screamo, all from the UK underground, to raise money for Medical Aid for Palestine and the Palestine Action Legal Defence Fund. We're also part of Shabak Festival, the UK's largest festival of Arab cultures.
As with like so much of what Theo touches, it's an absolutely phenomenal lineup, and he's going to be playing a lot of that.
There is a song from everyone playing across this playlist. But before we get going into that, we just had a song from Bonehouse, classic Scottish emo band, or as it used to be called, Ecosmo, from about 2012. I thought that was a really interesting era for the UK underground. It was kind of just before streaming had kind of gripped everyone by the throat. So you had a lot of people releasing music on whatever platform they could find, kind of for free or very little money. And it was really more about these experimental ideas and putting them into a live show.
Something that like we were talking about like right before we hopped in the booth, and how you kind of organized the tracks that you want to play. You got kind of you're going to be giving us like a lot of different perspectives, not just into different bands, but into the scenes that they came from, the times that they've come from, the things that they stand for, and so on. And these next tracks go on.
So this next little block of songs we're going to have from that same time period, really, kind of early to mid 2010s in the UK hip hop culture. This is going to include a couple of songs that are basically lost media now because they were uploaded to SoundCloud, and then people would get snapped up by the wider music industry, and it would just be erased from history. But actually, this music, it had a very hardcore punk kind of style of releasing. It would just be like, I've had this idea, here it is, you can hear it. There's a Novelist track coming up in a few songs where it starts off with a sample of a speech from David Cameron that happened that morning, and then by the evening you had the street politician freestyle. Yeah.
You got a Lost Media 404 track on here.
There is a Lost Media 404 track, Guild for Life.
All right, beautiful. Let's play these tracks and we'll say some more things about them once they're done. Sick.
Yeah, the king's about to bow down. The king's about to bow down. Mountains frown, stray dogs howl, I don't make a sound. Nobody move because no one's allowed. Yeah, and he went so deep in his ego, even he wants to get out. Walked out my town, got lost in the woods and I wanna get found. Scowling, my doubts are hounding, screaming, shouting, sounds surround him. Drowsy and planning on skipping the outcome. Still got some morals but golden about them. And they're talking about you shouldn't allow them. And I've been counting and T's been up on the fifth mountain, forsaken and waiting, so patient to speak to the maiden. We pray that he safely returns to the guild. Yeah, you earn what you build. Earnest discerning the purpose you serve isn't worth what you want. To be perfectly cut, you ain't serving the hurt and you feel. So into the belly I creep, edge of my seat, breath on my cheek. I saw my death on the peak, so into the belly I creep, into the belly I creep. Yeah, and into the belly I creep.
There's no recording of this you can get anywhere. Theo's just told me. Lost media. Hard, bro.
eyes are bleeding. Mum knows the smoke, she don't like it. When I don't, I'm thinking about fighting pagans who act for the man them. When I ain't wavy, I wanna shank them, but don't wanna face no sentence. Oh God, tryna ask for repentance. Niggas better know what's good when they see me. Bare fake rude boys wanna be me. F that, I'm a G on the ends. I was doing my thing before I made friends for ages. Turn up with the ravers, 20 black town niggas who blazing the dang. Couple tools and shacks, don't give them a reason to earn their rank. You gangsters don't do this for the glory. Same shit another day, another story. When the government talk shit, it bores me. Black boys stuck in the system. When the feds chat shit, I don't listen. When they take my boys away, I say fuck them. Fuck feds, they know we don't love them. Don't like feds like a pain in the dental. Made one of my G's go mental. Took one of my boys in the van and juiced him. Bitch nigga rules that Jake's are abusing. And I'm anti-social. In the hood and I still live local. Fuck feds and fuck everyone in the world that don't want me to be vocal.
Skin tight, plus your nipples all dumb. I hit it right, said she want a cowgirl. I'm the goth, lights off when I'm coming. I keep it buck, whether she recover from it. It's a Beyonce, tell her friends to check upon. Rap puns, is that what you, or you want a cowgirl to get you stuck upon? I wanna fuck, 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 hey, fuck, I keep it brave, I need in the back of my J. A spread eagle across the block and some more shit. I'm a freak, send the, I'm an 80. Maybe affiliate, switch around, hold me down, but don't text if it ain't about and quit the bitch if it ain't about sticking. I'm with it. Skip the foreplay, twist with some raw game. I lay her flat and spit on it, it's all gang. Break her back and thick on it, it's all lame. Break her, it's all bang.
You know what, that was sick, but you're still a dickhead. Want to break some shit? Yeah.
I'll make your club go bust. Pour boiling water into your mouth while you're sleeping. Disconnect your internet. I'll jog your barber's hand while it's giving you a shake up. Put holes in your condoms. That's what I'm on. I said that's what I'm on.
I'll box that spit out your hand, and I scuff out your brand new books. I'll kick in your newborn's head, and I'll leave your dog in the woods. I'll pick up your grandma's house, and I'll take a dump on your whip. If you get a terminal illness, I'll pull out the IV drip. Pull your do-rag off. What? Saw your daughter crack. What? Throw you under a train. Make your wifey never go back. I'll spit in your face with phlegm. What? And I light up your house like blem. Wow. Your ancestors can't help you. I've got a curse for all of them. I'll violate family members, then I'll stuff up your dad and dust. I'll sabotage your wedding, cover the cake in angel dust. I'll donkey on your grave. I'll twerk on your tombstone. Abduct both your parents. I'm feeling just like Hugo. Incantation. Free your death, I'm impatient. Curse man, judge man. Curse man, judge man. Incantation. Free your death, I'm impatient. Curse man, judge man. Curse man, judge man. Incantation. Free your death, I'm impatient. Curse man, judge man. Curse man, judge man. Incantation. Free your death, I'm impatient. Curse man, judge man. Curse man. Man. You're tuned in live right now to Moon FM. This is DJ Mike and Tifa on the decks. We're dedicating this song right here, which out to anyone that's ever heard us or any of our loved ones. We are setting houses on fire this year. It's
MIC
trust me.
and Shiva up next.
Spice.
Both playing Punks Palestine on Monday.
Run up in the old people's home and slap your granddad, slap him twice. I'll urinate in your beer and I'll send your head top clear. Tamper with your whip, make it so that you can't change gear. Run up at your church and play black metal. Make a family feel unsettled. I bought you a bunch of flowers, but I put poison in those petals. I'll cyberbully your kids, have a go drinking my spit. If you go bald, I'll pull off your toupee. If you go bald, I'll pull off your wig. Incantation, free your death, I'm impatient. Curse man, judge man. Curse man, judge man. Incantation, free your death, I'm impatient. Curse man, judge man. Curse man, judge man. Incantation, free your death, I'm impatient. Curse man, judge man. Curse man, judge man. Incantation, for your death, I'm impatient. Curse man, judge man. Curse man, judge man.
Love those tunes, man. Like, oh my god, that sounded so insincere, but I really, I really meant it.
I think we could all see you loving the tunes.
Yeah, I feel
and
like
me
if
loving
you're
the
tuning
tunes.
into the video,
Right.
yeah, then I definitely like, if I was meant with total sincerity. You were talking about like, kind of like this pre-streaming era of experimentalism, like 404 before they got signed, and the Novelist track that you played and all that. Do you think like streaming has kind of flattened experimentalism in the underground somewhat, like, or what's your thoughts on that? Because you've been talking
Definitely.
about.
I don't think there's really much question of it. I think because now you have to plan every release so much around almost social media algorithms. Now it's led musically to significantly less experimentation in a lot of areas. But that doesn't mean there's nothing out there. It just means that there was an era where it was really easy to find stuff almost every day. And now we've got to learn new ways of searching stuff up. I mean, we just had a song from the new Denzel Himself album.
Big up Denzel himself.
Big up Denzel himself. Like, we talk about Denzel himself because of him bridging the gap with that hardcore show at Power Lunches back a million fucking years ago.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, exactly, right?
He was at Power Lunches.
Yeah, he played with Rough Hands at Power Lunches.
What? Yo, I was there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
Yo, I interviewed Rough Hands for my shit zine back then.
Exactly. But that's how he bridged the gap into our scene. But he put out an album this year, and that was the track with all the riffs. Like,
That's crazy.
And then we had Shaver. Shaver is playing on Monday. I discovered Shaver because Shaver was playing with Denzel himself at the Barbican last month. That's
Sick.
it. Like,
Sick.
So it's still happening. The two of those songs were released in 2025, and they both banged.
I respect that Denzel himself put so much effort into his music, but it feels like he really refuses to bend to any particular scene or trend or anything like that.
The new album is about being a goth cowboy.
It's fucking sick.
It's glorious.
Like
alternative hip hop about being a goth cowboy. Explain that to someone in 1999.
It's gonna be one of the.
They'd probably just say, "Oh, what Kid Rock?" But still, no.
No, but
you then tell them to fuck off because they're wrong. But
there's
anyway.
an artist that's gonna when Denzel himself like blows up like he deserves to, then all of you are gonna be pretending like you were into it.
It's true.
When you want. We're moving into protest music.
Yes.
So
this is more directly the topic of the show. However, I think there's a through connection of all of this. I mean, being in the underground is inherently being a part of protest music, and it's inherently a part of making music to be outside of that cultural sphere. The reason why it's important for us to talk about streaming is that means that all of your listening habits are controlled by a singular entity. Now, Spotify invests in AI weaponry. It's part of the war machine, and it seems to be a blind spot for some people because it's how we consume things. And it is a sad fact that we've lost a bit of that.
You don't stream at all. You have your iPod Classic. So
My hard drive with all my music is just there.
Have you got a backup? Because when I lost my hard drive years ago,
I've had some
decimated me.
serious conversations about how that's needed.
You do need it. Yeah. I remember I was listening to a Rough Squad white label classics at my uni bedroom, and I dropped my hard drive. But anyway, let's get into some protest tracks. So you got Asian Dub Foundation.
I'm going to talk through like the next six, the next run of a few songs. So we've got a few different kind of aspects of protest music over different genres. We're going to seed into Smoked Poets next. And that is a almost kind of conscious hip hop spoken word vibe talking directly about the occupation in the West Bank and the destruction. The destruction of Gaza pre-2023. I mean, obviously everything is so much worse So Smoke Poets manages to convey this better than I'm going to in the next 30 seconds, and I think that's a way of using this their own art form of that genre of conscious hip hop to express almost poetry over beats.
Playing at Punks of Palestine as well.
They are also playing at Punks of Palestine. And then we're going to take it back a bit. We're going to go back about 30 years, and we're going to have Asian Dub Foundation with Free Sat Power Ram. Now that's so that Asian Dub Foundation are the 8th best band of all time.
Yeah.
That's just that. You can ask me for the full list at some point if you find me. I will talk you through it.
You light up every time Asian Dub Foundation are brought up in any capacity, and I love that.
Because Asian Dub Foundation played the game and they won it. Like, they played the arenas, they got a 10 out of 10 review in NME. Like,
I didn't know that.
There's a 10 out of 10 review in the NME for Community Music, an album that fuses jungle and Bhangra and indie pop.
Sick.
Like, Asian Dub Foundation played the game and won. This is the song that we've chosen today is Free Sat Poweram, and it is a kind of like it's jungle punk. Like, it's directly calling for the freedom of a man who was racially attacked in London and reacted in self-defense and was arrested. And this was the ending song of their shows for about 10 years.
Big up Asian Dub Foundation.
Big up Asian Dub Foundation forever.
Let's chat about the Black
And then
Midi
we're going to
track.
come back 20 years again, and we're going to play Black Midi and Black Midi reacting to touring America for the first time and the state of the water and fracking and seeing the damage that had done to a community.
Let's play these tracks, and we'll talk about the
And
last
then
tracks
we'll talk about the back half
once we've got some music in your ears. Yeah, sick.
Yeah.
Am I hiding? Are you finding? Been changing TikTok, our time is binding. I'm unwinding, I've been trying. It's taking TikTok time. Am I hiding? Are you finding? Been changing TikTok, our time is binding. I'm unwinding, I've been trying. It's taking TikTok time.
Abundance of hopeless rage, only left to turn the page. This story left no space, you only know how to witness. You don't feel your back break, body like twigs, let me draw you pain. Calm down, I'm just saying shit ain't the same. We used to swim, not float for days. The sun, it wasn't always grey. At a time like this, we spread far and quick. I find it harder to breathe. On top, the battles are steep. In the middle, they tread on feet. At the bottom, they fall fast asleep, too tired to eat. Where do we go in this subliminal heat? Put dust and distillery. Misery, I weep, but not for long. How distant are we? Here we have men in suits practicing lies and deceit. And over there, far between land and free, they fight for. I can't breathe, 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 I can't breathe,
Am I hiding? Are you finding? Been changing TikTok, our time is binding. I'm unwinding, I've been trying.
you when me call you the biggest fake. Cause if you come to the place, you know who you are. Self-defense, no offense. Biblical styles, home justice. Away down on one side. We make on the kiss, you know you're gonna get a roll fight. Hold tight, even if you know your rights. No piece of paper unless I'm a better fight. For 10 years, one hell of a long time. You what in a cell when you've committed no crime. Never innocent man, fools to carry the line. Free some power. Free some power. Another innocent man. Just another innocent man. Who's one against you? Who's one against who? The degenerate crew. Out on the town for the something to prove. Self-defense, only offense. Had to protect himself from the murdering fools. Cutting remarks on the account of his race. A blade to the chest and a glass in his face. And he's on fire, I got a fool to be me. Which I'm back up against the wall, you can't be telling the energy. And he's here, backwards out of your trouble, get a car. Fix up your back, you're the biggest face. I said you're on that big place, you know who you are. Fix up power. Just another innocent man. Free some power. Another innocent man. Just another innocent man. Sweating up the score, King's Cross 2, North 3rd floor, wings and silk cut, how many more? Somehow attacks in the west one, my wrist is not a brother's locked up on a lifetime basis, convicted of murder, my wife's never mentioned, self-defense was his only intention, ADF was a good ticket to a stand, witness the drilling of an innocent man, kicking up a fuss cause they're gonna put to us, so join in the fight back, because enough is enough. Free some power. Just another innocent man. Enemy set back, what's on your trouble near car. Fix up your man, make you the biggest face. That's what you're from, now you place. You know who you are, you know who you are. Free some power.
They breathe in the water. 2017, and I don't think it resonated with the public because we hadn't all been told that we sympathise with terrorists for their protests yet. I have, and I think a lot of people listening have, and this is the year that I've received the most flack for putting on Punts Palestine, and I think now it's more relatable than ever as we've all come to realise that we can support the Palestinian cause without needing these challenges and without deserving it. With all of that said, I challenge a single band in UK hardcore to cover the bass line of the next song.
Inside the history books is full of thieves and crooks who welcome with open arms. They stole and they took back to the fatherland. They're queuing at the door, just like out of a twist that the rescue for war. We don't want no more. Coming to win the cake, but we don't want no more. Coming to win the cake, but we don't want no more. Coming to win the cake, but we don't want no more. Coming to win the cake, but even matter there's no text except for the war games that you play. Each and every day, you offer violent aid to which your worst situations failed, with the terms and conditions for a military trade. We don't want no more. Coming to win the cake, but we don't want no more. Coming to win the cake, but we don't want no more. Coming to win the cake, but we don't want no more. Coming to win the cake, but
Sounds of the restarts. Like madness she just to casually drop that the Restarts would have played on Monday if they could get it off work. Like what a dedicated band that they're so big and they I was gonna, for a moment I wanted to say, such a big band and they just don't give a fuck. They do give a fuck. Do you know what I'm saying? That's exactly what it is.
More of a fuck than anyone.
That's fucking sick.
The Restarts are legends. The Restarts have been going for 30 years and you will still find them on squat party lineups in South London.
That's beautiful.
Like, okay. That was kind of the moment for me when I heard that the Restarts had done a song like that, even though I first heard that band in 2011 and that song's from about 1990 something. Was the Restarts had done a song about something inherently connected to the Israeli war machine that the only other person I'd ever spoken to about was my dad. And we were playing the game Worms on PS1, and a cluster bomb is one of the weapons you can use on Worms on PS1. And he said, "Oh, we shouldn't play this because that's actually a war crime to use these. These are used by the Israeli military to commit war crimes." And it was interesting to see that this was crossing over into the music. I don't know if that was a bit rambly, but I think that makes some amount of sense.
Absolutely. I mean, it ties into what we were talking about when you were playing Cabbage's song, Terrorist Synthesizer. We were chatting about the definition of terrorism. I was talking about how, for me, Loki's track, Terrorist, which I heard as a kid, hugely affected me, to be honest, to this day. To being 30 years old is like reframing my perspective on, how we speak about war crimes. So we don't speak about them as war crimes, and we don't speak about them as terrorism when they're done by a state.
Supported by the West.
By the West, exactly.
To bring this back to genre a little bit, when we talk about Cabbage, I mean, yesterday at Wide Awake, you had Kneecap playing in the midst of the general UK public trying to make an example out of them. And that was to a primarily post-punk crowd, and even more talk about genre mixing. But it's good that the conversation has opened up wider, that you can have a band so outspoken playing to that community now. But it's not new. It's not something that wasn't happening before. It just was happening on a smaller level. That's
that. That King Prawn track, the one that you said that you challenge any UK hardcore band to cover that bass line. They are a ska band. Like, I've seen that band play a ska show. Like
King Prawn. So the first King Prawn album, they put a full genre description in the liner notes. I've got the CD somewhere at my mum's house where they explain, we are a wild style band. We don't know if we're metal, if we're hip hop, if we're dub, what. And I don't know. I don't know if it's on anything, if you can find that record anywhere, but it is incredible. It is like he does full on MCing, full on like whatever, and then it's got big riffs, big riffs. And there's a proper chill song that's obviously ripping off Sublime, and it's amazing.
And ska feels like it's simultaneously a genre that has so much like orthodoxy to it. You know what I mean? Like you have to play a certain way, but then it's also a genre that has the most blending. Like what is it like? Isn't there like Beat the Red Light or whatever that one?
Well, they're now called Red Demon, and they mix death metal with ska horns.
That's what I'm saying.
Ridiculous music, like, absolutely ridiculous.
You had that whole ska core thing. You got
Cap Down. At the time that I was getting into heavy music, that was the most welcoming place in the underground, and obviously the most political place the most politicized place in the underground. You could see bands like Anti-Vigilante, who I definitely should have included today. I kind of almost regret that. Maybe if there's a round 2, we'll put some Anti-Vigilante on. And bands like Anti-Vigilante had more like in-depth lyrics than definitely 90% of hardcore at the moment. Yeah. But
you saying like that ska was such a welcoming place. Like I remember like I remember you being kind of bummed out at points that ska had a reputation of, I don't know, ska had the reputation outside of ska of whatever shit people wanted to talk, like whatever they just woke up and felt like saying about ska, people said. Yeah. And you've always just not like, it's against this tidal wave of shit posting, Scar bad, send tweet and whatever. You've always said, guys, like everything that you want to see in your scene, everything
It's
you want to
happening.
see in your scene is happening at the Scar shows.
And I think, to be honest with you, I think that's diversified. I think now we're going to talk a lot more about this in about 10 songs time, but we're seeing more diverse crowds. We're seeing more experimental things happening it happened in post-punk in about 2017. It happened in hip-hop in about 2014, and it's probably still happening. But it's happening in hardcore at the moment, and I think it's good. Things are going well. Like, before I say any of the next things I'm about to say, UK hardcore is in a really good place right now.
We're going to hear some tunes right now, starting off with Arms Race.
So actual segue I was intending to do with this was that the Restarts have been involved in direct action for about 15 years, while also, probably a lot longer than that, while also being extremely involved within that kind of underground punk community. And a more recent case that a lot of people will have heard of is about Ola of Quality Control Records.
Free Ola.
And that whole scene has been the most exciting thing in UK hardcore for a long time.
Yeah.
And really, it all started with Static Shock Records and those 2 Hoax shows in one night. One of which was at a house.
Yeah, so I got here in my notes a house show story. Can you give us the house show story?
I mean, the Hoax house show was announced at the Hoax headline show as people were leaving.
What year was this? Do you remember?
2013.
All right.
2013.
Sick.
And you just had to go, I still want to stay out
as
tonight.
they were leaving, so
As
people
you were
were heading out.
And you just like, okay, I'm still staying out tonight. And so you get on, I think it took about 20 minutes between them. And the opening band for that was a first show of Arms Race featuring Ola of Quality Control, the frontman of Abolition, and
oh my god,
the drummer of Violent Reaction.
Holy shit.
Supporting Hoax in someone's front room. It was, it's that old cliche. There weren't that many people there, but everyone there started a band. I genuinely reckon everyone at that house show has put out a UK hardcore EP that someone has heard.
Fucking sick. All right, with that.
So we're going to do a history of the best era of UK hardcore in the 21st century over about 15 minutes. Let's go.
Yeah, sick. 15 minutes, 15 tracks.
Literally, yeah.
Wonder.
house show for these guys was in 2013 too, and I still get this bass line stuck in my
Was
head
this
at
where the
least
window
once a
got
week.
broken? Was this where the window got broken?
Yeah, probably. If I ever rob a bank, I want this playing in the getaway car when I jump in.
Don't break up! Don't forget it, do nothing, now you are gone. What's if everybody like this way? Wishing I could put you on that thing. Don't wanna do what we must be more. Meaningless world, would have no more. Don't try to tell me don't feel hardcore. Don't you do nothing, what ain't more? What's if everybody like this way? Wishing I could put you on that thing. What's if everybody like this way? Wishing I could put you on that thing.
I got a couple of things to say, real quick.
Yeah, of course.
You remember that time? Oh, jeez. Everyone was watching on the video playback, you know why?
Yeah, yeah.
I need a moment. But you remember that time we were at T Chance's and I was moshing to a band. I was going hard, back to front, whole set. They finish. I come up to you, sweaty, little kid. I think I was still a teenager. And I said, "When's Violent Reaction coming on?" And you said you just danced to them for the whole set.
I genuinely forgot about that, but what a moment. Take a 2-second silence for Violent Reaction and T Chances.
Man, like the best straight edge band and the best venue.
All the love.
I mean, apart from New Cross Inn.
Nah, T Chances was better than New Cross Inn, but I love New Cross Inn. It lets me do all kinds of crazy shit. Like Monday. Come on Monday.
You should come on Monday. Come to Punks of Palestine on Monday. All fucking day. Back-to-back heat. What we're going into now... Talk about what we're going into now.
Okay, so it was really nice to have that run of kind of what I would say was the best of UK hardcore in the 2010s. And it was great to highlight the Rival Mob because I think that Rival Mob Underworld show really set a very high bar in 2013 that was almost never broken.
Can I say something about Rival Mob show?
Yeah, of course you can.
My legs didn't work properly at that show. And every single stage dive I did back in 2013 was bad. And
there is no such thing as a bad stage.
No, it wasn't what I wanted. And 12 fucking years I've been waiting for that fucking band to come back so that I can do what I should have done at that fucking insane show.
I ain't saying nothing, man. But there was that era. And I think it's great, similarly to how we had Denzel himself and Shaver representing where that era of experimentation in UK hip hop is going. I think it's really cool that we've got still the threads of that now, not just through Quality Control Records, but across the UK of bands making this style of very lo-fi, still just raw aggression and something to talk about music.
Stiff Meds, big up.
Stiff Meds, big up. Probably should have had Stiff Meds on here. I'm sorry. Round two, Stiff Meds.
Because Exciting Violence EP is like 10 out of 10.
But we have to talk about It Crust. We have to talk about It Crust being built from the underground and from those people in the underground that were representing that community spirit and that protest movement, and people that were going to shows and going to Palestine demos at the same time, building up into finally putting that into a band. And then that happened, and the scene has actually grabbed a hold of it and run with it. And it's amazing, and it's been amazing to see the support for this. It's been amazing to see the community galvanize behind them. We're also going to play a song from Dynamite. I think Dynamite are the band that's going to take this global. Like, the Flex already took it global, but Dynamite, the next band, is going to take this global. This is a sound played well and honouring that UK scene in a way that could share a stage of Trapped Under Ice in America.
Yeah. I couldn't not move to them when I saw them supporting Shelter. I'm 30 fucking years old. You know, I went in there, I was like, I'm not moving to this band. They played one song and I was in there. Dynamite are fucking sick.
Because that was my show and I was watching from the Underworld Dickhead viewing platform, I was thinking like, could I get away with just hopping over this? Then I watched 3 other people do it and I was like, I'm a big man. I think it's going to look weird if I do that. I regret not hopping in. Like, that was a foolish decision.
Pick up the UDHVD, the Underworld Dickhead viewing platform.
I went on there once and I don't know if I'll do it again. And then what I think is really cool is we got a band from New York called Combust, and they have a feature on their new album, which is still my favorite hardcore album of 2025 so far, from Rory of Imposter, BN1 Hardcore taking it global.
BN1,
and I think it's amazing to watch as this has grown from that house show with 20 people that all started bands into something that's going global. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll mosh in the studio again. It'll be funny. Let's go. Let's start that again.
Reload. If you can't tell, we learned how to do this 10 seconds ago. So hit it from the beginning now, bro.
Executioner, I hope you rock our waits. Hasbi Allah ni'mal wakeel. Oh, walk consumed by evil and greed. Tries his best to keep me on my knees. Demolish your own, to run in the bucket. Military aid versus all they rocket. Motherfucker media, you know it's biased. Driving around trying to justify it. Like as I'm in the West, I'll be wasting my breath. Top for our freedom, they top for our death. Till the day we see our people free. From the river to the sea, for you I'll bleed. Standing our ground. Long as people are occupied, resistance is just a fact.
Big up Ikras. Most like for
Big
me,
up
for my
Ikras.
money, not best band, and for anyone's money, most important band in hardcore right now. They got a new record coming out. Heard from Basso. Big up Basso. It's gonna be all sung in Arabic, if I remember that correctly. No one quote me on that, but Fucking enormous big ups.
Big up Ikras, big up Dynamite, big up Combust, big up Imposter. Also big up our last track from Tension. That last track fucking bang. You want to see Tension? You know where you can come? You can come on Monday to Palestine. New
Come
Crossing.
fucking dance to that. Come see some moves.
There will be some moves to that.
And you know who's going to be given some mad moves? Josie, frontwoman of Fractured.
It's true.
Because
it's true.
Josie's tornado kick that she brings out at the shows is something to fucking behold.
That was a very good segue, Chris.
Because they are also playing tomorrow. Fractured are opening.
On Monday, they are.
On Monday. To Monday, sorry. Yeah.
But that's a really good moment for us to talk about what's happening right now. So a few minutes ago, I was saying how actually UK hardcore is in an amazing spot right now. And it's not just from the last 6 songs. There's this whole other kind of separate bit of underground that's happening that's younger than all of us and kind of puts us to shame in a way. And there's these bands who are bringing in not just that old school hardcore influence, but what is kind of almost the new old school of sounds from kind of 1999 to 2003 of things that we would have said, oh, that's 18 Visions metalcore, that's deathcore, that's all of these things.
And it's important to mention, not only would we say that, we would then put it in that little box and say, I don't want anything to do with that particular box. Like that's the box of these bands that play to these people and whatever.
And I think that's coming through on a DIY level in London now. And it's not just Renounce playing with one screamo band and 2 pop punk bands. It's now, this is a new form of UK hardcore and it has its own community and its own scene. And they're selling out shows and they're doing crazy things. And it's amazing. It's been amazing to watch.
It's been, when I went to your festival, Reality Unfolds, when's the next edition of that happening? January?
Yeah, in January. We're not going to talk about that today. There'll be news on that.
No. Yeah. But like to bring it back to your last one, like maybe it was the year before that because I was visiting. Anyway, in any case, not to get too lost in the weeds, I came up to you last year before, and I said, Theo, I'm seeing a whole new generation of kids at these shows, and they're fucking making it theirs. And man, it was absolutely beautiful.
So the next block of songs is going to be, there's going to be 5 bands that are all playing on Monday that are all from this wave of new bands in the UK underground that are in, it's UK hardcore. It's UK hardcore doing some other styles, but it's still UK hardcore by any sense of what hardcore means, what punk means, what protest music means. And also, we got Bullets Between Tongues in there because I think that's the best album released by anyone and it sounds like great. Sorry, the best album released by anyone this year and it sounds perfect within this block.
What is Bullets Between
Bullets Between Tongues are an American screamo band that if you haven't heard that album, you should definitely listen to it.
I mean, we're going to be listening to one of those songs right now. So
you are going to listen to it in a bit. But yeah, so here's mostly a mix of bands that are playing on Monday. And we're going to kick us off with Fractured. Clear some space in your room because you'll want to do some spin kicks for this one, gang.
Josie will come and kick you directly in the teeth.
If you don't. Yeah.
For you, get one step for you.
wrong with me? Bury it, push it all down, go around like nothing's fucking wrong. Stop being, stop being, stop being, stop being a cliche. I want you to keep me at arm's length. I wanna be referred to in the worst sense. Put the lights out on me. Put the lights out on me. Put the lights out on me.
Those last two bands, Sunday Best and Death Goes, both playing on Monday.
And so were those first three bands, Fractured and So Far So Good and Not Without Punishment. Please come
I
down.
did not look at the lineup closely enough.
Oh yeah, it's a good bill.
It's a really good bill. I want to quickly shout out Joseph, fucking out of absolutely nowhere, showing me that he did Muay Thai. Because if you're watching the playback, you could see that he fucking reached the ceiling with that. Bruv, stop sparring me. Like, he reached the fucking ceiling with those kicks. You know how it is. Yeah, I do. I know how it is.
Moshing in the booth.
Moshing in the booth, bruv. Tell us about these next screamo tracks. I want to talk a bit about that personally as well. But please introduce this next batch.
So as you could probably hear, we were starting to blur the lines really between straight ahead hardcore and more melodic influences and kind of richer sounds and some extra high fidelity things coming in. And really that gap between screamo and hardcore is something that we only have a wall between kind of in the UK. When you go into the European scenes, you'll find more that screamo is just hardcore. And I mean, we're gonna play a La Quiete song, and I saw that band in Venice last week, and they had a hardcore crowd. They had Palestine flags on stage. The lyrics to this song are extremely conscious. They're extremely revolutionary lyrics, and I strongly recommend looking up a translation. It's all in Italian, but it's still very beautiful, and I think you'll find it still translates.
The Italian screamo scene is unreal. Like,
historically, just always been an amazing base for that kind of music.
We saw remind me of who we saw at Oine was one of the most transcendentally beautiful experiences of music I've ever partaken in. By partaken in, I mean it was 12 rows deep. It was unreal.
And it's still that harsh, abrasive sound, but it's done with a sense of urgency. And you'll find that within these bands, the ethics and the principles that they stand on are still very much rooted in that DIY aspect and also that hardcore aspect and those ethics that we all share. We're going to play In Case You Leave, who also are playing on Monday.
I was about to say.
And I know that that's a band that also will stand by their principles, and that's a band that also we should all be supporting how they are as humans.
They are a legitimately, absolutely beautiful band. There's something of their soul that comes through in their music and their live show.
And although sometimes these things are less, perhaps mosh ready is the best way to say it, it still grabs that same bit within you. It still grabs that bit of your that bit of your vitality.
I mean, anyone who's been watching the video playback might think that I'm all about moshing, but honestly, this part of the set is my favorite part. I adore screamo. I think it is music of the soul. It has affected me as a human being uncalculable amounts. You took me to Fluff Festival, which was a huge part of my life. You're gonna take us to Second Impact Festival in Italy.
Yes.
And Venice Hardcore as well.
Venice Hardcore is very beautiful.
The screamo is beautiful.
We're going to close off that section with a song by No Man. No Man are actually the band
fronted by Maha Shami, that I technically stole the name Punks Palestine from, but I've cleared it with her and she's fine with it. She used to also be in a band a very long time ago called Majority Rule, who I believe we saw together. But don't worry, because it was one 20-minute long song at Fluff, but that's okay. But this is her screamo hardcore band that's come through years later, and it's called this song we're going to play is called Can't Kill Us All, and I think it's a very important piece of hardcore articulating the Palestinian struggle. Obviously, it's screamo, it's hardcore. These things are all one and the same when we get down to it. I think we should just start playing songs.
La Coyote up first.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to cut the set a bit early. We're going a bit over, so if you want to introduce this last song, we got to cut No Man, unfortunately, but we're bringing in another really important track.
As always, next time we've got one more song, and it's going to be from the final band that's playing the Punks Palestine on Monday at New Crossing. This song's by Leatherhead, and I think they really summarise all the different genres we've tried to bring through today. It's an epic screamo band from southeast London, collaborating with a Palestinian protest poet. The song's called From the River to the Sea. Thank you so much if you've tuned in.
Thank you so much. Free Palestine.
Children throwing rocks at Israeli tanks seconds before becoming daisies. If they ask about Gaza, tell them in Gaza there is a martyr, aided by a martyr, photographed by a martyr.